At 11 o'clock this morning, the Attorney General of the United States, Jeff Sessions, is going to announce essentially a plan to phase out DACA. And the reason it is 11 o'clock today is because Texas and a number of other states were suing the federal government saying DACA is unconstitutional and, hey, administration, you got to do something. And rather than have to defend it in court, Jeff Sessions is saying, we're going to get rid of it because we're going to have Congress come up with a solution. At least we're putting 6 months on the clock, ready, set, go.
Yeah, is 6 months enough time for Congress or not enough? Right? I mean, I think he's trying to give them at least a little bit of space to figure out what they want to do here. We had Judge Napolitano on just last hour, and he said actually it was President Obama who created this problem to begin with. Here's what he said.
Every president since Ronald Reagan, since 1986, has said hands off on these folks. The only president that reduced that to writing in a series of 12 executive orders was Barack Obama. And when those 12 executive orders were challenged in court, the court invalidated them, saying this is for Congress to do. Mr. President, if you had done this quietly and below the radar screen like all of your predecessors have done, and as Donald Trump is doing today, there'd be nothing for us to invalidate.
I love the way this was announced yesterday. If DACA is suspended, President Obama will put something on Facebook.
Yeah.
Say it ain't so.
It's going to speak out.
Right. And by the way, like he said, the president decided he was frustrated with Congress. It wasn't getting anywhere, so he did this through an executive order, executive action. President Obama. But remember, what President Obama did in 2014, he says he couldn't do. So he agrees with Napolitano in 2017. So here he is in 2011. Listen to when he was asked about this.
With respect to the notion that I can just suspend deportations through executive order, that's just not the case, because there are laws on the books that Congress has passed. Congress passes the law. The executive branch's job is to enforce and implement those laws, and then the judiciary has to interpret the laws. There are enough laws on the books by Congress that are very clear in terms of how we have to enforce our immigration system, that for me to simply, through executive order, ignore those congressional mandates would not conform with my appropriate role as president.
So what a great soundbite, because they're the then President of the United States. Years before he went ahead and enacted things through executive action, he said, I can't do it. I need Congress. So essentially, and the reason he did that was ultimately because Congress would not do immigration reform and include that. So now, essentially, Donald Trump is doing what Barack Obama did not do. Will Donald Trump, be able to get it accomplished? Don't know. Depends on Congress.
But you look back, that was a great soundbite, by the way. Kudos to our producers for pulling that up back in 2011. But he was struggling with the same thing that President Trump is today. This is a difficult thing. It is emotional, but you're also dealing with the legal angle of this. And we saw that just a year later, a couple of years later, he reversed that and ended up doing it on his own.
You know, I watched you over the weekend. I watched other people, and there's plenty of things that are controversial about this president that people want to criticize, that always want. But there's really nothing to criticize here. He's openly saying how difficult this decision is to make. He's, I think, doing the right thing by kicking it back to Congress to let them have the power that they yearn for. How can you possibly be critical of a guy who says, I love kids, I'm a grandfather and a father, but there is a rule of law. Let me try to work this out. I need a few extra days. What is wrong with that?
Well, this is a brilliant solution to a political situation. Keep in mind, if anybody's surprised that President Trump is ending DACA, you weren't paying attention during the campaign. Because how many times did he say, if I'm elected, I'm going to do something about the Dreamers? And then as soon as he was elected, he was asked about it, and he goes, I love him, we all love him. So now he's having Congress do what they should have done in the first place.
The irony, though, that if we do hear from former President Obama on this, after pulling that clip back from 2011 here, but he's just going to rile up that resistance movement, give them a reason to hate the president more.
Who has more Twitter followers, Jillian or President Obama?
President Obama.
I mean, definitely
so far.
me.
Right, absolutely.
Obviously. Hers is growing, though.
Because you have the sports as well as the news.
Oh, yeah. No, I have no Twitter followers. It's actually sad. But that's okay.
Follow Jillian.
We're building, you got to start somewhere.
This is Sharon reporting from Bad News Media. Thank you for subscribing to our channel and giving us a thumbs up. We really appreciate your support. Please feel free to leave us a comment and share this video with your friends. Thank you.